All right, guys, today I'm going to show you how to do some 2025 planning that I think is going to blow your mind. And I've created some Trello templates for you to utilize. All right, welcome back to the Kim & Co. YouTube channel. My name is Chris. Let's go ahead and jump into this. So one of the big revelations that we had in 2024 was going from annualized to quarterly planning. Now, this is a concept that has been made famous by guys like Brian Moran. He wrote an entire book about it, but also one of my personal mentors, Gino Wickman. And so there's a process that they use that they call quarterly rocks. And what we found is that by planning quarters versus trying to plan an entire year, you move a lot faster. You create more urgency and more deadlines around finishing things within a quarter versus trying to plan something in November when you're in January and you have no idea what's going to happen. The world is moving at an accelerated pace right now. And so trying to plan an entire year, maybe you found, is just really, really difficult. So what we recommend now is do your annual planning, but then break it down into quarters, starting with what is most important as a priority, and then put that into your rocks. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, but the core essence of what we're doing here is we're taking something large and abstract and we're trying to make it as actionable as possible. So as we go through this process, what you'll see is we're doing just that, but we're being really intentional about it. And from what we've gathered, in fact, our team actually told us this. They said, we've gotten more done in 6 months than we did in previous years. So that was how impactful it was for us. So I wanted to make sure you had this. So let's jump in. Okay, so what you'll see here is we create an entire board called rocks, right? So that basically just means this is what we're focused on for every individual quarter. So I have Q1 2025. When I'm done with this, what I do is I use this as a template, so to speak. And then I'm just going to create a copy of this. So I create a copy and I do quarter 2, right? Now, something that we've done that really helps the team as well is by giving it a theme. So our theme, I actually use it directly here, is simplify. So there's a lot that we've added over the years. We've expanded our product suite. We now offer coaching. We didn't offer that before. We've launched a subscription. We didn't have that before. And so what happens is that you find that you've created a lot of new functions in the business. And so what we want to do is go back and kind of clean those things up and simplify. Your theme can be whatever you want it to be, or you don't have to use themes at all, but it's something that helps everybody kind of rally around a core concept of what we're trying to accomplish. And it seems to really help us. Now, what we've also done, and you can do this or you can make it whatever you want, but we've designated both front end and back end. Now, what that means is since we're in a client-facing business, and maybe you are as well, is front end is client-facing stuff, right? It's marketing that we're going to be doing to the public. It's things we're doing to attract new customers. It's the stuff we do that makes the money, right? To put it simply. And on the back end, what we're doing is we're actually servicing those customers. We're actually doing the functions like behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees. We're planning events. There's some stuff that needs to be done as far as emails or scheduling and all that. So all that we call back end, right? So right now for us, a big one is refreshing our websites, switching our server, simplifying some of our tools. So a lot of those things would fall under back end for us. You can use that if you want, or you can just have one. This is the company initiative list. It's totally up to you. So for us, front end is going to be like running ads. What's our marketing strategy? What's our email marketing? We just sat down, Kim and I just did an entire content strategy where we mapped out December and January. So that would be a front end for us. That would be a front end public facing or front facing thing that we do. So in line with that, what you're going to do based off your annual plans, you're going to pull what are the most important things? What are the big goals we have for the year? And then we're going to make that one size smaller and put them into projects, right? So here's the goal. Let's pull the goal here. This is our big plan, right? What are the things that need to happen so that plan can become a reality, right? So let's take the server migration as an example, right? We want to switch servers over. Okay, well, there might be several things involved with that, right? Not necessarily tasks, but projects that fall within that are tasks, but maybe there's a lot of things involved with that, right? So what we'll do is we'll create a little project, and I actually link that, right? So I create a hyperlink, and what you'll see here when I click on that is these are all the major projects for that quarter, right? So we'll make all of the projects that we have that we're working on that are active and ongoing. We'll pull those there, and then we link them in our rock, right? So that we know what everything is, and then each thing has its own dedicated project, all right? So inside of that, I'll give a description, and then we'll do an assignment. So I'll maybe add a member, and then we can add checklists, all the things that need to be done. So let's say in that server migration situation, maybe there's a lot of prep work that we have to do behind the scenes, a lot of data packaging, or maybe there's some people we need to reach out to. Maybe there's some research that needs to be done about where we're going. Maybe there's some, I don't know, right? Whatever is involved with the server migration part, that's not my area of expertise. That's why we have somebody that handles those things for us. But whatever that involves, what you want to do is build out what that looks like in terms of an individual project or a project that has a lot of different tasks inside of it. Again, totally up to you how you structure that. So what you would do is you'd put that in here. You can add checklists. You can have ongoing conversations about the activity involved with that particular project. But what you're doing, though, is you're keeping tabs on that throughout your quarter, and you're basically building out your list of to-dos for your people. I'll get to that in a second. By taking your annual goal, putting it into quarters, and now building projects around those initiatives that you have for that particular quarter, right? So you can build it however you want. This is a general structure. You're going to have access to this as a template, so you can modify it however you'd like. But that's what we do, right? So we have our rocks board, right? That's our quarterly rocks. Then we have our big fat projects board. These are all the projects. And then what we do is we take it down to the meeting level. So what we'll do is, great, here's our big overarching initiatives that we have. Now, these are the projects. These are all the things you need to get done to move that initiative forward. But each one of those is going to have tasks. So as you're moving the needle forward on each one of these projects to achieve the goals in those big initiatives, you're going to have a weekly ongoing discussion with your team, or at least a way for you to assign tasks to yourself or to your VA or whoever you're working with. Even if it's just yourself, it's a good way to keep your thoughts in order. But what you'll see here, and this is our structure, we have a weekly meeting. We record that. Now, for our VAs, what we do is we don't expect them to be on a call at 2 a.m. their time, because they're on the other side of the planet. So what we do is we record it, and we actually act as though they're in the meeting with us. So I might say, for example, okay, Belle, I'm dropping this video link for you. This is going to be part of our new YouTube initiative for the quarter. Want to make sure we drop a lot of new tutorials or a planning video, including the one you're looking at now. And so we're going to iron out what those look like inside of a project. Here's the 8 videos that we want to do. And then we're going to parse out on a weekly basis which one we're working on for that particular week. Again, going from large to small. So yes, we want to do 8 videos for the quarter. That's the goal, because YouTube is a big driver for us. Here's the ones we want to do. Here's the topics that we researched. That falls under the projects, under your big fat projects board. And then boom, I'm doing this video this particular week, because I know I need to keep that ball moving forward so that I get my 8 videos for the quarter. Right? See how we're making it a little bit more practical in terms of how it goes from large to small. So then what we'll do is, in that video, I will reference and say, okay, Belle, I'm recording this video. I'm going to drop that link for you. It's under our, whatever for the rock, under video number 1 or video number 2 that we had for the 8 videos we want to do. And then she watches the replay that we provide right here. We send this out in a link for our recap. And then she can click that when she wants. And part of her job when she starts her day on Tuesday is to watch the video that we had from the team meeting and look at the tasks that are associated with that, right? So for us as a team, we do pray together when we start our meetings. Again, that's make it your own, right? We go over our wins for the last week. We have open floor IDS. That's idea, discuss, and solutions, right? So a lot of times there's open floor things, right? So if you're hosting meetings with your team, maybe there's some open floor things you want to discuss, things that came up throughout the week. Maybe there's a client having an issue. Maybe you ran into a technical challenge or a difficulty. Maybe there's an error on your website that you guys need to discuss as a team. So this gives you the opportunity to have that open floor discussion efforts to figure out, okay, is this a big project that needs to go under a rock, either for now or the future, or is this a to-do that we can get done this week? If it's a to-do we can get done this week for us, we drop it down right here into our to-dos. And then if it's a project or a rock, then we ascend it back up to the top, meaning it would either go as a big fat project for a later date, or it would go under a rock for that particular quarter, right? Again, now we're going from smaller to large, kicking it up or down depending on how important it is in relation to the goals that we set out for ourselves. So really important that you keep the main thing, and keep the focus the focus. Okay, next we do rock updates. So what we'll do with the team, we link the actual rock board here, and we go through, right? So we may assign. So let's say this particular project relating to this big goal is something that I need Brian to do, because Brian, I need you to research new servers that we can explore. I need you to give me a breakdown on everything that is entailed with that server, or give me a list of all the servers that we should consider. Then on that project for server discovery or server research, right? Maybe I could click that link, and under here, project number 2 is server research. So server research, and then Brian has put a list of server company number 1, server company number 2. And then maybe he puts a little bit of his notes. This server is great. This server is expensive, right? Well, you get the idea. But basically, that would encompass a project that now I'm asking him to do something for me, and I can come back and I can find it under this particular project because we've established that as a goal. So I know I'm sounding a little bit redundant, but the core reason that this really works is because A, it's targeted and really focused, keeps everybody in cohesion, but also it's all saved in one place. So a lot of people, what they do, just to encompass some of the mistakes that people make, is they'll create a big list of projects, all the things that need to be done. Well, they don't qualify it, so they don't really just determine, is this really something that moves the needle in my business? Is this something I should prioritize now? Is this something I should do later? And so what happens in a business is as a company grows, so too do the things that are needed to have happen, right? So your list becomes more expansive of all the things to do. If you've run a business for any period of time, you know I'm telling you the truth. There's never a shortage of things to do, and the more you grow, the more that becomes true. So what becomes necessary, and maybe something you're experiencing at the moment, but you didn't realize it's happening, is you just need to get a grip on what's most important for right now. What can I put on the wayside and not focus on, but also keep tabs on it? So if I build a project, or I build out my next quarter, or I build out my annual plan, at least you're organizing it in a way where you can come back to it, but you don't forget about it. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that big project we need to work on. Or, oh, I forgot that thing from our annual plan. Well, you'll know that because you have an annual plan that you built rocks for, that you built projects for, that you're assigning tasks to. So it literally goes from ideation all the way down to execution, which is exactly what you want to see in a business, all built around organization. And that's really what you accomplish when you do this. Okay, so let's go back to our weekly to-do here. So we build out to-dos. Now this is based on either rocks, right? Video number 2 for the quarter is ready to edit, right? Client X is ready to be onboarded. We want to add 5 new clients for the quarter. That's our goal. Okay, great. What needs to have happen? Okay, we're doing a whole promotion around that. Well, there's to-dos associated with that promotion, going from big initiative, executable, task. Sorry. Okay, next is content to produce this week. So this is pretty specific to us. It doesn't necessarily have to be for you, but in this day and age, my guess is that it probably will apply to you as well, but content to produce. So you may have Instagram, that is your main focus. For us, YouTube is obviously a big focus. That's our predominant platform that we focus on. And so what you'll see here is that we'll have, one YouTube video, and then we'll put a name next to it. So let's say we do YouTube video, right? And then for the week, I'm going to assign that to myself. So I'm going to say, hey, CMH, this one is for you. All right, so one YouTube video this week. And then sometimes we'll actually put the topic. So we'll put like Trello. We'll put Trello YouTube video. And then we'll say podcast episode. And let's say I'm going to assign that to Kim. And then we'll say some things are ongoing. You don't have to repeat them. So like if you hire a VA and their job is to post Instagram content, every week you don't have to put new Instagram content, but you could, right? You could say 3 IG Reels, and I would say, Belle, that one's for you, right? So whatever that looks like, that way everybody knows what they're working on. And then the last thing that I do, and this has just been a healthy practice that I think could benefit you as well, is what are we making too hard and what are we missing? So I love to close meetings with this. It just reminds everybody, hey, like this was an easy opportunity for us. Why are we not thinking about this? Sometimes you get so caught up in the mundane that you lose sight of opportunities, or you're making things harder than they need to be. Maybe you don't have a planning structure. Like, oh my gosh, nobody knows what's going on in this business. We need a structure. Great. Let's implement that thing that I watched that Chris talked about as far as building out your quarterly rocks. That seemed like it would really be beneficial. So we have that ongoing conversation because it's a process of continually reiterating in the company and progress over perfection. So it's something that I recommend. You don't have to include that if you don't want to. Again, make it your own, but it's something that I recommend doing. Okay, so just a quick recap. You're doing your sit-down annual planning. You're going to just jot everything down, right? You can do that on a Trello board. You can do it in a notebook, whatever you want to do. I recommend building those off of data and feedback from your clients and not just willy-nilly in it, for lack of a better term. But what you do there is you say, okay, cool. Here are the most important things to meet these goals that I've established for my annual plan. You break that into quarters. You could do all 4. So if you're looking here, you could say, okay, quarter 1 is simplify. Things are too crazy in this business. So let's simplify the business first. Then let's say quarter 2, the theme is to build, right? So we're going to build a new website. That's the main theme. We're going to build our marketing funnels. Like we don't have any funnels. We need a selling system, because what we found is that people are coming to our sales pages, but we're not making sales and we're not doing any follow-up. Or let's say it's part of that is going to be to run ads, right? Whatever that looks like, but you could name it build or grow, things of that nature would make a lot of sense. So let's say quarter 3, 2025 is to scale, right? So on and so forth, right? And then Q4, you can name your theme whatever you wanted it to. So you're going to take all those annual plans, focus on quarter 1 now. What I do is I go back to my list. So I make the annual plan for the year. I pull out quarter 1. Don't overload it. Don't try to do a year's worth of stuff. I recommend probably no more than 3 major goals or 3 major initiatives for each quarter. So this is pretty robust to have 3 and 3, 1 for back, 3 for back end, 3 for front end. That's pretty robust. We move really fast as a team, and we have a team, so we can do probably all of those. But what we did find is by quarter 4 of this year, we were a little burned out because I did front load a lot of those, maybe more than I should have. So be careful about overdoing it. If you have to, be like, okay, I'm going to only do 2 per quarter, and I'm going to make those 2 count. So I really need to make sure they're the things that are going to move the needle forward. So don't overload yourself. You will burn yourself out. But we're going to take those annual plans. We're going to break it down and say, these are the most important things for quarter 1. I'm going to focus on those first. And then I'm going to build out my projects, basically just notate all the things that need to happen for that big goal to become a reality. We have to do this, we have to do this, and we have to do this, right? Then what you can do from those project boards is you can start assigning weekly tasks. And also on your actual project boards, you can set deadlines. So it reminds you. You can't manage all this stuff in your head. It's crazy. You'll drive yourself nuts. I know, because I've tried. But what you would do is say, okay, this project, we need to be done by the end of January to stay on track with our quarter. This is a January 31st situation here. And this is going to be server research and migration. Right. So server research and migration. And then here you would, again, the note that I left before, server research, you could have some ongoing dialogue. The team can comment and tag each other. You can add new pieces of information. You can upload things like attachments. Let's say you got some pricing. You could upload those there so everybody has it. They can uniformly look for it and then come back to this. So it's just a good way to organize everything, right? And then when that's done, when we get that done, what we do is we move it to in progress. So we know everybody's working on this one because it has a deadline. And then when we're done, we go to completed. Excellent. We go back. We say, okay, cool. This was the project number 1 of that overall big initiative. And then what we typically do is we put a line through it so we know that one has been done, right? Did not mean to do that. Let's see, where am I at here? Strike. There we go. Yep. So you would do your little strike through there, and now you know that one is done, and everybody's happy and celebrating and blah, blah, blah. So what you can do here is you could theoretically build them out as a checklist if you want. Again, make it your own, and then just check them off as you go. Or you could just say, hey, this item from quarter 1 rock is now done, right? So easy way to communicate with everybody on what's going on with that, right? Same with the quarter rocks. So when you finish that quarter, archive rocks. You're going to do the same with big fat projects, and then same with team meetings. And I do the exact same thing. So what I do is when this week has been completed and we meet the next week, I go to copy, and then I would do team meeting, and I do the date that we meet so everybody knows. So in this case, I would just say week 2. And then here you go, week 2, right? And then that way everybody can come back to this. They can come back, they can reference it and do whatever they need to do. And what we do then is we'll say, okay, what were the to-do items for last week? Because they should carry over, right? If they don't, what you can do is you can go back and you can actually check these off. So these were unsafe changes, so they didn't actually copy over. But what they should do, if I had saved it and then duplicated it, is you should see those to-dos actually carried over. And then you would do the exact same thing. Now, you could build these out as checklists, right? So when you go through these, you can actually just hit check and check them off. Or you could do the strike through like I did before. Again, totally up to you, but you've got the general framework if you need it. All right, I hope this was helpful. Again, this made a huge difference in our business. We got more done, like I said, probably in about 5 to 6 months in the first 2 quarters than we did in previous years. And everybody just felt better about what we were working on. Everybody knew what they're supposed to be doing. And I think it was probably one of our best years as a team in business since we've been running a business like this. If you're an online business and you're doing things in a digital space like what we're doing, organization is absolutely key. I would say organization and communication, absolutely critical. And so I think this framework will help you. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you have any further questions, happy to do a follow-up. While you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. And lastly, we did just launch something brand new. So if you are an online business owner, which you probably are if you've watched this far, we did just launch what we're calling the Content Club. Now, what that means is that every week, or every month rather, you're gonna get 2 content drops. You'll get a template that's going to help you with something, or a resource that's going to help you with something not dissimilar to what you got here, but you also get additional commentary from both Kim and myself about how to apply this in your business. So if you like things like this, if resources like this are really helpful to run your business more effectively, you can get those monthly from us, and you can get your first month for just $10, and then renews for just 19 bucks per month for as long as you want to be there. Cancel at any time. So if that's something you're interested in, that link is included in the description below. We would love to see you guys there. In the meantime, we'll see you next time.